Hey there, Joseph here. So, if you're a UX professional who is tired of ghosting and copy and pasting your applications into the ATS black hole, then this video will help. In the next few minutes, I'll show you why the current game keeps great designers like yourself stuck and the system that my client used to land 200K plus roles without applying online on job boards. We'll cover what is broken, how hiring actually works, and the three-part method that get conversations and offer. Cool? All right, let's dive in. So first and foremost, why 99% of UX job seekers stay stuck, right? And we're going to explore more. So first of all, you're not lazy. You are not untalented. You've been putting on the hours, the years of experience. You have shipped real work, great work, creating real impact for your business and the users. So the issue here isn't about your lack of effort or the lack of talent, right? Because clearly you have both of that. It's just that you have been playing a rigged game. And rigged how? The rules currently favor the known and low risk candidates, while the unknown candidates, like yourself, you're applying code, get filters out, right, through the ATS and through your job application, no matter how strong the portfolio is or no matter how strong your resume is, right? So it's really not about your portfolio, it's about the game that you're playing. So while most designers are trying to win by polishing the artifacts like the resume or your portfolio, but the game itself, the hiring game itself rewards trust, right? And not just polish. So then better polish won't just move the needle and just won't kind of move it and get you shortlisted, just that. It's also not just about your skill, right? It's also that the rules have changed in the game. Well, teams are getting leaner, hiring managers are getting busier, so the risk tolerance as well is getting lower. So the rule now is that the safe, credible option wins. So if you can present yourself as the safe, credible option, you will get shortlisted and progress through the interview rounds. At the same time as well, it's not your luck. It's just that the system itself is broken. So be it from the resume portals, the job boards, all of this promise access, a lot of opportunities, a lot of job opportunities right there. But what they really deliver is just noise. Noise for the candidate, noise for the hiring managers and the companies. And because at the end of the day, what they're really serving is themselves, right? It's the business in the day, right? So from the candidate side, they're getting a lot of data and intel around you, which they can use in their development and or whatever they wish to do it, depending on the terms and condition. For the companies as well, they also get paid, right? So if I'm posting a job ad, even on LinkedIn, I have to boost it, right, in order for it to increase its reach. If not, by design, it will limit the reach for the job ad, and that's why I have to top up money, and it costs me quite a bit of money as well. So at the end of the day, then the good designers, the good UX professionals, the good people will then conclude that, hey, I'm not getting success here. Maybe I'm just unlucky in this thing. But actually, the channel itself is just noisy by design. It's the way it is. So while you're tweaking your portfolio and your resume, waiting for weeks for a reply, something else is happening in parallel, out of sight, behind the scenes. Let me show you. Because hiring managers are hiring from the inside. What do you mean is that they are checking the inside the building first, inside of an organization, inside of a company first when they are looking for someone to place. Is only after that, if they can't, then they will move to their trusted people, be it their immediate teams or the peers or the other design leaders that they know, right? And only when this channel fails, then this is where they go into the avenues and sources that is public, right? So this is like your job boards, etc. So what I call this is the vector referral. Basically, there are two doors, right? There is the front door over here, which everyone rushes in and applies online when there's a job available. There's some recent hacks like, hey, within the first few hours, you want the first 24 hours even, you want to apply online and get increased chances. Well, some of that may be true, but there's just a lot of people cramping in the front door. And typically, the response rate that you get is 1%. Right. So what it means is that every 100 job applications that you send in, you get one response back from a human, right? Not including of the ATS board auto notifications or rejections that you get, right, from your job application. So you really get just 1%. And sometimes the feedback itself is quite generic. Sometimes it's good. It is what it is, right? Especially in today's climate and tough market. Well, there's the other side. there's the other door, which is called the back door of warm referrals and pre-trusted intros, where typically over here the response rate is for my clients inside Career Creators, you get anywhere from 20 to 30%, right? And myself, I get around 30 to 40%, and the highest the highest that my client ever got is 85%. So what it means is that, hey, uh, just looking at the numbers, I'm getting 20 to 30% better returns through using this approach and through using this strategy, right? Why not? And the door itself is wide open for you to enter. And why not use it more? Why not play a different game? So here's how hiring actually works. All right. So this is what I call the hire and seek pyramid. Okay. So there's a few levels. So the first key thing here is you have to understand when a hiring manager hires, there are two things that we are considering. First is cost. The next is risk, right? So it goes from the lowest cost to the highest cost, the lowest risk to the highest risk. Okay, so the first one we look at is internal candidates, right? So these are internal candidates within the company itself, especially if it's your big organization. When it's a job that is launched, I would typically launch the JD into the intranet, the internal internet in the company, and the job boards over there, and see if anyone from other teams or the other departments might be interested to move over. The cost of it is minimal, and plus these are people who are already bought in and known about the company's mission, vision, the products, the customers, the stakeholders, etc., the processes. They all know that. So very little risk to me and almost no cost. The next one then I looked at is internal referrals. Then these are my immediate one downs from my designers, my researchers, my PMs, my engineers even. And these are people that directly report to me. And typically if I'm hiring for a new role, I would just ask, hey, do you know one or two or three people who be awesome to join us? I'm trying to fill up this role. Who you would like to refer in, right? And just because it's like a friend of a friend, if I'm friends with you, I would generally be friends with your friend, right? Because there is a borrowed authority, borrowed trust in this cycle as well, right? So typically that's where internal referrals is pretty strong. And it's only that after that, I was in, at the same time, I'll ask for external referrals. And these are my peers. These are my design leaders. These are my other folks that I've met along my career and on my LinkedIn network that will ask for referrals as well, right? So there's some trust there, but I still have to vet through it a little more. Next, I look at talent pipeline. So talent pipeline, essentially what it means is that, hey, for the previous jobs that I've hired before, not all candidates will be given an offer, right? So there are folks that I've reviewed their resume, reviewed their portfolio, some even interviewed them before, but some even do all the way to the final round, but didn't get an offer. And all these people, it would be just, it's not the right time, it's not the right opportunity, it's not the right moment, whatever reason, they didn't move on or didn't get an offer. I will store all of these people into my ATS, my applicant tracking system, into my pipeline. So in the future, when I have an opportunity, a new job opportunity appear, it only makes sense for me because I've already invested money, time, effort into vetting these people, and they're pretty good. What I need to do is just to send an email to inform them about this opportunity. Would they be interested? Right? Doesn't cost me too much. At the same time, next one, then I look at is recruitment agencies. All right. So these are your recruiters, your headhunters, etc. And typically they will charge anywhere from a 15 to 25% placement fee for the first annual salary of the candidate. So they are very good at their one skill, which is sourcing for the right candidate, sourcing for the right talent, especially for very niche industries or niche type of roles, be it founding designers, head of designs, VPs of designs, executives, senior lead principal staff designers, in specific fields, be mining, data, healthcare, pharma, whatever, right? And this is where this group of people are very good at what they do, and they can find based on their own network, their own talent pool, or through their network as well. All right, and this is where we require the help of the recruitment agencies to come and fill in the gap. It's only then this that fails as well, then I go into the job boards, right? And this is at the public side. So the job boards, I release it on LinkedIn, Indeed. And again, like I said, you have to pay, not only just post the job ad there, that's one, but I also sometimes have to boost it and keep boosting on a daily basis. And over time, it adds up money. But actually, the bulk of the cost comes in not just on the advertisement and the promotion side, but really it's through the time and money and effort that I have to go and vet through. Me and my team have to vet through, right? So when you launch a job ad right now, there'll be hundreds and sometimes even thousands of people who apply for the role. And online, and usually like 80% of them will not be qualified. But in order to go through and filter all that, somebody still had to view that, right? So go doing all that, using all that effort, having the screening calls, having just looking at the resume, therefore takes time and money and effort, right? The hourly rate of the hiring manager, the team, the recruiter, it all takes money, right? Going through that process takes a long time, but sometimes we can find gems hidden in the haystack. Then last but not least, if you're a new graduate, there's sometimes there's campus recruitment. So we have to put in a lot of costs, go in, set up stores, set up thing, do speaking, do time. It's like there's a lot of investment in that. But also the risk is high because these are new grads as well. Right? So this is the hide and seek pyramid. So what's interesting is that the flow that hiring managers hire is the complete opposite of how you as a job seeker seek. Right? So we usually start from the top to the bottom. That's how we go. That's how I explain. It makes sense, right? Because it's low cost to high cost, low risk to high risk. Well, for job seekers, when we start thinking about it and how we typically are taught to apply, is mainly focus on the visible job market, the job boards, or if you're a new grad, campus recruitment. Right? There's nothing wrong. But it sits at the bottom. And this is the front door that everybody tries to enter. Well, the hidden job market exists where 60 to 80% of the roles available in the market exist over here. Right? And for me, for example, the last few roles that I've been hired to, gotten offers are all from the hidden job market. Be it hiring managers reaching out to me, or be it just through a referral. I got it through that as well, right? So give you an example. So for example, one of my lecturer roles, right, that I got at the university, one of the hiring managers reached out to me on LinkedIn. Hey, you already know me before as well, and say, hey, we got this new role open. Will you be interested? New position open. We are running this new course. Will you be interested? And I said, yeah. Then I had a chat with him. Really good chat. And then from there and then he wanted to offer me the position. And then what he shared is that, hey, we haven't released the job ad right now, but we're going to release it soon, maybe tomorrow or later today. Once we release it, can you just go in and click and register and just fill up your application and your details so that we can just log you in the system and process your application through our HR portal, right? And so what it means is that sometimes for the job ads that you see out there, all right, even though they say hiring, but in some cases, the hiring manager itself already have shortlisted one or two people already, or one person, and they, by just rules or legal means, they have to put the job ad there, right? And people still apply to it and all. And that's why sometimes when you don't get a response, it's because someone else has already been chosen, right? It's just that it is what it is, right? So it's the different game that you have been taught to play, and this is the different game that the top 1% is playing as well. Okay, so the hidden job market. So if you are tired of having no clarity about a career, what type of job, role best suits you, what type of company is your dream, what's your strength, what's your unique value proposition, how you position yourself, or if you're getting no replies in your job application, your outreach, your networking, or you're getting no offers through the interviews. Some folks are even going through first round interview, second round interview, and final round, they still can't get that offer, right? So these three frustrations map up into the three solvable gaps, which is clarity, conversion, which I'll share with you now. Right? So you don't need another portfolio tweak. All you need is a new strategy. Let's call strategy bits hustle, and let's change the system that you're using. So first of all, why listen to me? Quick background so you know who you're talking to. I spent over 15 years in the design scene. The last role that I've led is a head of product design at a B2B startup where I've been both sides of the table. I've hired designers before, product managers before, reviewed portfolios, hundreds of it, thousands of it, and resumes. I also mentored hundreds of designers in my capacity as a lecturer, as an educator. I've also trained thousands of designers as well, right? So I know a little bit or thing or two of both the hiring side as well as being a candidate. Plus, the last company that I've worked at, we designed the hiring and recruitment tools that recruiters use on a daily basis to reach out to candidates like yourself. And that is the user base is millions, about 4 million people, 4 million recruiters all around the world. So when I interview and my team interview recruiters, we really understand their pain points and their troubles and their challenges that they go through and the whole kind of workflow as well. Right? Plus, I'm sort of a LinkedIn top voice, and been posting on job search for the last 3 years as well. Okay, but more importantly, also I have helped 50 plus folks land a UX role. So what I'm going to share with you is the career creator method. And this is the method that, I have helped 50 plus UX professionals to land 200K plus roles with our job boards. And ultimately, why we want to kind of do this is so that you can ultimately do your life's work. All right. We don't just want to look for work that is just getting a work-life balance, but we want to kind of flip it and do our life's work. And for me, this is my life work. I like coaching and I like helping folks like yourself. All right. So this method has 3 key pillars. Impact, which is works that matters, and that is very, very important to a lot of designers and UX professionals. This is one of the reasons why we entered the profession, because there is real impact in the work that we do for users as well as the business. There's freedom, which is agency over your time and work, so autonomy over your time and work. You want to have some control around that as well. And more so as well is wealth, right? In terms of your compensation and the upsides that you get from having a good career, but more so as well something that is fulfilling, right? So that's what we are looking for. But at the same time, there's also the 3 blockers that kind of falls neatly into this, right? Which I shared. No clarity itself that stores your story and you're unable to articulate and communicate your story. There is no response that you get from your application or your outreach that kills your momentum. Then at the end of the day, if you're getting off interviews and all, but you're still not getting offers, means that you're not the safest bet yet for the company. So how we kind of tackled it and how we solve them in order is for folks that, we've got no clarity. What we'll first get is career clarity, getting clear about the career that you want. What's your strengths, what's your zone of genius, what's your superpower, and how do we want to position you uniquely so that you're a candidate of one instead of candidate of none, right? Next one is, instead of no responses, what we want to start to have is backdoor conversations. All right. And this is where we want to be targeting, reaching out to people strategically. I'll go into details for each of this later as well. Right. You want to go into the backdoor and have those conversations and build trust and build the relationship. Then after that, for no offers, we want to then drive offer conversion, right? And just as building up trust in the interviews, rejecting or countering any objections that hiring managers might have, and just showing them the value that you have, so that it makes you a no-brainer hire for them to bring it in, and also give you the best compensation that's possible. So if I'm going through each of this later, what I want you to do is think of it as a traffic light, right? So for each of those areas that I'm talking about, if you're already hitting it, you're clear about it, give yourself a green light, right? Or just type G, all right? Or just note it in your notepad. If it is not so, it's like kind of average and 50-50, put it as a yellow, right? Or a Y. If it's a red, and it's something that you're really weak on and you need help with, put it as a R. And honestly, just be honest with yourself and just go through this as a little checklist, as a little audit. And that's the way that we can help ourselves through this job search process. All right. So first of all is the clarity and confidence. All right. So step 1 is about making your value obvious, so that, when hiring managers, and recruiters are doing a 8 to 20-second scheme, then they want to kind of say, hey, this person is an asset, not just another applicant. All right. So what we want here is clarity and confidence. You're going to position yourself as an asset. Again, there are 3 key things here. So first, the typical failures or struggles and challenges that people get into is, number 1, no clear career direction of where they want to go. What typically happens is that, hey, if you see any jobs in the job board, all right, especially when you first started, I think you can, some folks are a bit more selective in terms of what they're applying. But over time, as they go through that application and get a bit more desperate, any job that comes online, they will just apply. And there's no direction. You're just doing like a scattershot approach and just applying to everything. All right. And there's no clear direction in terms of specifically what is your strength, where you want to go, how you want to build your career. Next one is no differentiation. Basically, what it means is that when you look at your resume, you look at your value proposition, you look at your experience and how you position yourself, if you were to switch your name with somebody else, would the same value proposition, with the same statement, with the same story apply? If yes, the answer is yes, in terms of your LinkedIn headlines or in terms of your portfolio, your resume, then it's not hitting the mark, right? You're not clearly differentiating enough. And lastly, no clear story. And this is where we'll kind of work on your resumes and your LinkedIn. All right. So no clear story for next one. This is where your portfolio and case studies are not clear. They follow a very typical cookie cutter approach in terms of the design process and what happens. And most people just kind of walk through that process of the 4Ds because one has been taught what they have learned in boot camps or universities or schools, or they see other portfolios that they think that's the way that is expected, and task resulting in no clear story without sharing the impact they have made in terms of the users or the business, or in terms of the story of all the challenges and the decision made inside of the portfolio, right? And resulted in not a clear story that hiring managers and recruiters can understand. So how we solve that is the three tools. First one here is the career GPS, and this is what I get every client to kind of do. We cover 11 P's, what I call the 11 P's. There's 11 different pointers of things that we will look into, from your purpose to your personality or your superpower to the people, to the place that you learn to work at, all the way down to your pay, etc. Right? And the problems that you want to solve, etc. All of this comes under the career GPS. And it's just through doing this exercise, a lot of my clients have gotten a lot of clarities in terms of the right type of roles or the type of companies that they want to work for that is best suited for them. The next one is no differentiation. And this is where we want to use something what I call power positioning. And power positioning really looks at both your LinkedIn, your value proposition first, your LinkedIn, and your resume. And this is where we want to be super ultra clear about our relevance to the role that we are applying for. Number two is the differentiation. How are we uniquely different from everyone else, and how can we stand out from the crowd? And this is where we go into power positioning. Next one, in terms of no clear stories, and this is where we want to make our case stories. Right. So for case stories, this basically is a structure. Now I've done it in a way that you can build up your portfolio and your copies and headlines and even your about section and all that within my GPT, that we can craft it uniquely to you and tell your story in a very clear, compelling, persuasive way that is outcome led, that builds trust in minutes or in seconds even, and allows you to tell a very clear story as well, right? So a very clear narrative. Yeah. If you're able to kind of package this neatly, then this is where you get a lot more clarity as well as a lot of confidence as you are portraying yourself as an asset. So to kind of share some stories, I have this a client here, Jeff. Jeff has been working with me for 12 weeks, and he was let off in October 2024. And back then, his confidence was really kind of taken aback, a few steps back, right? Because he has a lot of short stints before that, and which is under 2 years, and it's very hard for him to position himself. And he always feel like, even though he made it to like first round, second round, but some way or another, he still can't get the final job offer, or even people not giving him the chance to have interviews. It's all about how he has been positioned or how people have been assuming his value, etc. Right? So for him, after he joined me in early January, we worked with him 3 months, and this is where then later he had a bunch of conversations and did all the method and all that. Eventually, he landed a senior UX role at Walmart, 200K plus role, compensation plus the relocation bonus and everything. But itself is like a whole new start for him and his family, all right? And for him, more importantly as well, is he landed a role with a solid team, with good leadership and good ownership. And for him and his family, it's a great chance for him because he's got daughters as well, right? Got kids as well. I have kids as well. And it's very important to build a nice, new, stable ground again for him to move on his career as well as his life. So that itself, I'm super happy for him. All right. Another client as well is Anthony. Anthony is making a pivot, right, from UX design all the way to sales. And when he came to me, he was really struggling in terms of, hey, how do I make this? Am I even qualified? Because it's a total shift in industry as well. And after sharing with him some insights and pointers and kind of clarifying his positioning and the value that he can bring as a salesperson, a sales associate, um, in AE, right? He then landed a sales role. But more importantly is that it actually helped him to beat out an experienced hire, which was mind-blowing for him, which itself is very possible because sometimes the years of experience is just an indicator of the competence that you have, but is not the full picture, right? And it really comes down in terms of how you communicate your value to others so that people will want to take a chance on you, right? And give you that job. But it's also about positioning yourself as the low risk hire. All right. Next, we look at building the relationships that open doors. And so now we can have to earn the trust before the role exists. So this is where warm conversation comes in, where relationship that opens doors. And this is where we want to engineer those warm conversations with 100 people that you can actually hire you or advocate for you. But typically, what cues the momentum and the challenges that UX professional face is just three things. First, there's no network, right? They don't have a network, and honestly, a lot of them they going through the career in a pretty steady kind of method, right? They got a job and they've been working in the career for quite a while, and they haven't put much attention and focus in terms of building the network. So even if you have networks on just a few hundred connections on LinkedIn, or even a few thousand, it's all right. It doesn't really matter. Even if you start with a few, if you're existing one, that's fine because it doesn't really matter. Because when we're going to look at it, we're going to do something totally different. Next, in terms of spray and pray, and this is where typically most of us kind of face. This is what we've been taught, and we just spray and pray in terms of our messaging, our outreach, or our job applications on the job boards, right? And this doesn't really open up any warm conversations at all. The next thing is there's no foot in the door, right? So even if you are in it, in the interview process, they still feel like you're outside of it. There isn't a place for you to get inside information or inside access to the teams and how they're working, the challenges they're going. And there isn't a way for you to get inside the door to prove your value and make you and position yourself as a safe choice. So the solution that we want to kind of do is to replace that with when you've got no network, we want to start to build our dream network. Our dream network is what I call the Dream 100 across 10 companies. So 10 people, 10 dream people across your 10 dream companies. 10 times 10 equals to Dream 100. And this is where we're going to get ultra clear about the type of companies that best suits us, that's right for us in terms of the values, the mission, the way they talk about design, and what's really important to us. We want to make sure that it's aligned. And dream companies are not just FANG companies or big tech companies. That is not what I advocate and not what I'm fully kind of position. It could be, but what my focus is more around companies that truly aligns with your values, your mission, your talents, and really, yes, you're really kind of like drawn into the mission and the purpose of and the products and the customers and the group of people, the community that company is serving. All right. So dream network. The next one is strategic outreach, right? Instead of spray and pray. So what we want to get is, once we kind of identify the clear people, have very clear messages that is specific, that gets 20 to 30% reply rates. And it's very, very possible, right? Most people don't send out, don't add a message when they send out connection requests. If they do, they send out something that's generic or something that is a copy and paste template or is a very big ask, like getting, 30 minutes of your time. Can you review my resume? Can you review my portfolio? Can you refer me? All this, reduce that response rate by a lot as well. So we want to take a totally different approach by doing this. The next one here, if you've got no foot in the door, this is where we want to have Trojan horse docs that get ourselves inside, right? And typically this can be anywhere from a 1 page to 11 page or 20 plus page doc or deck or a one pager that tears down and demonstrates the value that you can bring to the company and to the team, and sparks real conversations with them and gets you again positioned and top of mind with the hiring team, the design team, as well as the hiring manager themselves. So kind of show you some examples and stories as well. So this is Sarah. I worked with Sarah for about 12 weeks as well, through when she got laid off, as well as she was struggling to find a role and get clarity around her career. But ultimately, she has kind of niched down to something that is very niche, very specific, which is the art and craft or arts and cultures industry in Singapore. And it's not a lot of job opportunities or a lot of companies that's around this, right? So this is where then she started getting specific and reaching out to every single one. So one of the museums that she was really really interested in, she reached out to the hiring manager, had a chat with her through WhatsApp, built a good rapport, created a deck that kind of showcased her value to the hiring manager and the company as well. Got an interview, into the second round of interview with the other team. The other team member, the comment that they got is like, "Hey, you should charge for this. This is really really cool, very awesome." But the more important thing is that whatever role they were hiring for, they had in mind. She did not she only met about maybe 30-40% of the qualifications or the requirements, right? But it's still nonetheless, she managed to get to the round. The end of the day, they didn't kind of offer her, but it was more because they found someone that maybe is more technically suitable for them as well. But nonetheless, she shared this document and put it on her website as a portfolio piece, as a case study piece, as she continued to do her outreach to a few other agencies, directors, etc. One of the agency director saw her stuff, spoke with her, had a good coffee chat, and they really kicked her off. But back then, at that point in time, he wasn't hiring. 1 or 2 months later, when the role opened up, there's a new role that opened up again, she was the first person that comes to mind for him. All right. And after a quick chat, right, with him and another person, they got an offer. So things can happen very fast. But it's the more important thing is that how can we be top of mind of the hiring managers of the dream companies that we want to work to. And this company deals a lot with art and craft and culture projects all across Singapore as well. So very, very happy. And I've seen some of her work in public as well. Super amazing. All right. I have another client, Charlene, all right, where she again is a career shifter, career changer with 7 years in marketing experience and no experience in UX and in this space. But she also very desire to kind of go into the industry that she has chosen is the aviation space, which again, big but also complex and regulated and tough to get in as well. All right. So she started having chats with the different people inside the company. So one of the ones that she spoke to a hiring manager in her dream company. And from that 30 minutes chat that she had with him, that extended to an hour plus chat, which is a very good signal, a very good flag, a green flag, right? Of her building rapport and trust with this. So, about a month later, when there is a role open at this company, she saw that, hey, it belongs to the department of this person that she's spoken to. She reached out again, shared that she's interested, she applied, and just within a few days, she got shortlisted into the first round interview with the hiring manager and HR person, and did very well. Then proceed to the next round, which is with the hiring manager and the management team, the hiring manager's bosses, etc., which is essentially the final round interview already. And through that, even though she didn't land the role, all right, ultimately, but she landed the second round interview within a week. So the pace of again, no experience at all in the space, in the industry, zero at all. She still managed to beat up other candidates who have more relevant experience, more years of experience, not only to the first round, but all the way to the second final round interview. Right? End of the day, it really comes down to what the company wants to hire and how she position, but still manage to get to that through using what we have just shared over here as well. So finally, then we move into irresistible offers, right? And this is where the last mile, we want to make ourselves become the obvious low risk hire. All right. So through this, we have irresistible offer. We want to be chosen with confidence. This is where we de-risk you with a proof, a plan, and confidence negotiation. But typically, the common pitfalls that people fall into is number one, no proof of impact, right? Where they don't have evidence of impact, of business outcomes, of user outcomes that they have helped contribute, and they're unclear of sharing that as well, or even just positioning into a story that is clear and concise that when answering to the interview questions as well. Next one is unclear ramp up value. So when you are going to a new role, a hiring manager always think is like, hey, this person, based on how they have performed in the interview, sounds all good and fancy and great and all. But, how long and how fast and how soon would they ramp up to full efficiency and, productivity in the new role? Unclear. And, if there's a lot of work that goes into planning the 30, 60, 90 days, the first 90 days of the work, right? For this new hire. So again, a little of like a hesitation over there. And then the next one is like for most candidates, they will just accept the first number that is presented. And again, it could be a lowball offer, but if you do some of the stuff that we have spoken about so far, this is where sometimes the top salary can be offered to you straight off moment, right? And I've gotten this multiple times in my career as well, right? So the key solutions here then is that what we'll do is we'll install the Trust Story Bank, where you have a bank of stories that you can trust and neutralize all the concerns that hiring managers have. So you can just proactively showcase to them that you are the right person for the job. Right. The next one is what I call the 90-day accelerator. And you install this. This is a concrete plan that will say that, hey, from week one, day one, this is how I will create value with you and your team. And for the next 30, 60, 90 days. Right. And then for next one, then is the what I call the six-figure closer. This is the script and role plays for you to negotiate for additional 10K salary or even 50 up to 50K salary or more. Right. But you want to make it so that you are confident in saying and negotiating for the number, because even just a 10K difference, 50K difference can make a whole huge difference in your life and your family's life as well. Right. So this itself is very important. Like for me, myself, the last role, I got a 50% raise, right, from my previous role. This itself is tremendous as well. So I want to share some stories. So Veronica here, I worked with her for 3 weeks, right? One of my shortest one that I've worked with, but a really amazing story. So for Veronica, she accepted an offer, and it was at a company that she really likes and very excited about, like she shared. And she got to, there's a lot of room for potential for her, right? And for her, she was, one of the challenges that she was facing is in terms of her positioning and the clarity of a story. Again, a lot of designers and UX professionals struggle with that clarity and the positioning in terms of understanding what's the true value, true passions and motivations and that they have, right? But once she got clear on that, she appeared a lot more confident and clear about presenting that and communicating that in interviews as well, right? The more so as well, where she managed to ask for 10K over the highest range. So typical job, you have the low range and the high range, the max range, right? She managed to get 10K above the highest of the range, right? And they accepted the counter. So it's very possible, and we're gonna walk you through that as well. I also have another client, Sean, who I've worked with 8 weeks, right? And he is also struggling again at the start with his positioning and his clarity in terms of how he can portray himself. He's been working at a company for many, many years, and has gotten obviously very comfortable in it, but at the same time very uncomfortable and want to kind of get himself up and grow more. But at the same time, he is also making a shift from a new country, making a move, and looking for a new opportunity. So a lot of like moving parts and pieces as well. But for him, eventually for him, he did accept an offer in the ideal country and is starting this and is very excited about it. And yeah, so very, very awesome. I think more so for me is like not just the money. Money itself is a great thing, but more so important is that you are landing a role that you really believe in, you really enjoy, you really that values you, that aligns with your vision, values, your mission, your principle, your passions, your interest areas, also values your zone of genius, your talents, your skills, all of that. It is very possible for you to do that, right? Because once you're clear on that, companies will then see, hey, you're the right choice for them. All right. So for you, right now, there are two doors and one choice. Every search funnels down to this decision. Keep trying through the crowded front door, or you're going to walk through the back door of trust, right? So which door are you going to enter? There is the front door that you can continue to send hundreds of applications every single day, every single month for the next few months. And there's nothing wrong with that. You can continue doing that. But do know that you're going to get about a 1% response rate. And at the same time, you're going to get ghosted, you're going to get drained from the whole process as well. Maybe it's all right with you, continue doing that. If you get success with that, great, continue to do that. But if you're not, and you want to kind of escape from that and try something totally different, and the way that gets you 20 to 30 times better response, right? Then we're going to enter through the backdoor, where you send targeted messages anywhere from 3 to 4 or more, and we're going to get 20 to 30% response rate, and ultimately you get chosen early, and more importantly, you become trusted in the whole process as well. So if you're ready to walk through the backdoor, if you want help installing the system for the next 12 weeks, here's how to join. Though I'm keeping this intake small, as every intake that I have, 10 seats, so that I can work with every single one of you. And the door closes on September 30. All you have to do is DM me the word creator on LinkedIn. Just search for my name, Joseph Lewis Tan, and I'll send you the private invites with the details. And if you're done chasing and ready to start creating your career instead of chasing, right, then I'd love to work with you.